Claire Pomykala, welcome to Dirtbag Rich.
Hello, thanks for having me.
When in your life have you felt the grossest and also the most alive?
So, there was a stretch of days in New Zealand when I met like a new traveling partner on the adventure, and we were like, yeah, we just need to start wild camping more often. It's easier when you're with someone. And I think there was 3 days in a row of wild camping, and it was really long distances. So it's like, 100 kilometers a day, fully loaded, half of it's mountain, like biking trails. First night, camping at the tallest dune. It's a mountain biking park. So we get sand in all of our gear. It's just like impossible to get rid of the sand. It took me like months afterwards to get rid of it in my sleeping bag. Next day, we're camping, wild camping at the side of a rest stop on this kind of freeway in New Zealand. And that second night, a car pulls over so a man can basically take a leak. And he gets to the trees and he realizes that our tent is like 2 feet away from him. And so he just zips up his pants and just like leaves immediately, almost peeing on my friend's tent, not mine, but my friend's.
Oh, wow.
And then I think the next day was another 60 miler. And I remember just at that point, there was sand, sweat, dirt, like it's just the grime is just, accelerating every single day. And it was awesome. It was really awesome. But I remember just being so happy to like have a bed and a shower. I don't even know when that happened. I think I found a warm showers host actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just felt so divine.
Right? I think about that all the time, how being out in these like kind of these ridiculous situations we put ourselves in, like a big part of the payoff is coming back to civilization and just being like, this is why couches are awesome. This is why warm food is awesome. Showers, absolutely.
It's really the showers for me. It's like, I don't mind getting dirty. I actually do love getting dirty, but I also love getting clean.
That's a good one. How long was that New Zealand trip?
I think it was about 2 months, which is not enough time for New Zealand. It's a pretty long country.
Yeah. And you are 26 today. How old were you on that New Zealand voyage?
I think I was 24.
Okay, not too long ago.
Yeah, I think I was 24. Yeah, I think it was a year and a half ago, something like that.
And this was not your first rodeo. This was not your first long bike tour.
Yeah, it was my fourth rodeo.
And maybe just for people who don't know much about bike touring or cycle touring, or they've seen some psychotic looking person on the side of a busy road with a bunch of bags strapped to their bike, can you just break down what you think bicycle touring is, or what separates it from other kinds of bicycling?
Bicycle touring, I think, is a way to more intimately experience another land and culture. Because being a regular tourist, I feel like has a certain degree of separation compared to bicycle touring. Because when you're bicycle touring, it's hard to escape the bad parts of where you are. And the bad parts could just literally be like rain. Like New Zealand, way more wind and rain than I thought. And if you're in a car, you don't really have to feel that. But when on your bike, you feel everything. You meet everyone. Like, I mean, I remember at one point in New Zealand, there was like a little farmer stand with, fresh juice and stuff from some local. And I had like only really large bills. And then I see this postman come around. I wave him down. I'm like, can I exchange money with you so I can buy juice right now? And I gave him like probably a New Zealand 20, and he gave me an equivalent of basically quarters or whatever back. But it's like bicycle touring puts you in so many more unique and like raw experiences. So the tourism aspect it's less curated. You really get like a full variety of experiences. And I just think you have such a more profound and intimate understanding of where you are, because it's hard to escape all of the good and the bad. It's kind of just all thrown at you from the land, the weather, the animals, people, just everything.
I really appreciate that definition of bicycle touring as like a travel intimacy.
Hmm.
What separates it from the word bike packing? I feel like a lot of people get confused about the distinction.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I think bikepacking is way more focused on just nature. I feel like bikepacking is all about getting as far, like not always, but like it's further away from people, just more connection to nature, and it's usually shorter. So I think bicycle touring has probably more of a focus on culture, but
Mm,
I would say bike packing is just like I just need to get in the woods and just hear only the birds.
mm-hmm,
And that's how I rehabilitate myself before I go back to my 9 to 5.
mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. So it's like wilderness backpacking, a short wilderness backpacking trip, but using a bicycle
Hmm.
instead of just your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas bicycle touring is often more connected to cities or more populated areas, and you're more likely to interact with people.
Yeah. And it's just bicycle touring is usually just a longer duration of time. So there's way more of a touristic aspect of it. Because
Mm,
even if you're not even near people, you're still in another country absorbing all of the elements of that. Or maybe not even another country, but another state, part of the world. So I think there's just, yeah, more emphasis on, yeah, like a relationship with a new place
mm,
for bicycle touring potentially.
mhm. I want to keep moving backwards through your timeline, and then later we'll jump forwards from New Zealand to the present moment. But what were the other three big tours that you went on before New Zealand?
Um, okay. So basically my first tour was from Atlanta, Georgia to Baltimore, Maryland, and that was right after I graduated college. Um, I gave all my stuff to my mom, who drove down after graduation, and I was like, okay, when my release ends, I'm gonna bike home. And that was my test run to see if I actually liked bicycle touring because I mean I was biking home. So it was a 1.5 month journey. After that, I went to London because I only had one international friend that I was close with. He lived in London. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start in London. um, and as someone who had never traveled internationally alone before, I was like, I think England will be a pretty good starting point. Everyone speaks English. It's not too far away. I feel like it's a pretty mellow, um, like starting point for international travel.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept going on from there as long as I could. I think I spent 4.5 months. I spent about 2 months in all of England. I did a whole circle. Then I took the ferry to the Netherlands, just went all the way down south from the Netherlands until like Tuscany. And then after just basically going straight south on the Rhine River for the most part, ended up in Barcelona, met someone and did some van travel and went to Gibraltar and Portugal and came back. And then I was home. And then the third tour, which was over a year, because those two tours had about a month in between. The Atlanta to Baltimore to Europe, there was about a month in between of rest. Um, about a year and a quarter later, I did a group bike tour, which was my first ever group trip. And we biked from Baltimore, Maryland to San Francisco, California. And we alternated van days. So we were all on road bikes and all of our gear was in vans and just circled driving days. So we all biked like over 3,500 miles each, most likely. Um, but yeah, the total mileage was over 4,000.
I'd just like to highlight how hardcore this is that at age 21, 22, you
Yeah.
bicycled within the US. Like cycling within the US is hardcore. Like it's dangerous often. It's not made
Yeah.
for cyclists. That's like a pretty rough start in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Europe, like going for like 4 or 5 months and doing this mostly solo,
Hmm.
and going through all these countries where you don't speak the language. I know
Hmm.
lots of people do speak English in those countries, but still, like what prepared you to leap into this so passionately, so drastically at such a relatively young age?
Okay, I think prepared is kind of an incorrect word for here because because I was mostly motivated by like I mean I had an interest in travel for a long time, but I was primarily motivated by negative things. I
Mm,
did not want a job. I did not want to go get a master's degree. I didn't know what I was doing. It was all of this kind of anger, frustration, like that pushed me. I was like, well, I'm going to run away from my problems. And that's why I just kept biking until I was like out of energy, out of money. Um, by the end of my bike tours, because I was about 6 months total. I mean, if you include the Atlanta to Baltimore and the Europe, that was almost exactly 6 months of living on a bike right after college with, that 1 month in between the two. But I was just trying to postpone that transition as long as possible because I was so incredibly jaded after college.
Mm.
Um, I just wanted like nothing to do with normal life for a long time.
How much do you want to do with normal life these days, Claire?
Um, I don't really know. I'm constantly going back and forth on a lot of things. I feel like, because I don't want to be super normal, but there are normal things that I want. Like I like having the place that I live, but I also want to be able to leave that place in a moment and not have to worry about it.
Mm.
So I'm trying to find my creative, happy medium.
Yeah, we'll circle back to the present moment and its many dilemmas. Just to dwell on the college years,
Hmm.
what did you study, and did you have like a pretty positive experience in college? You said you left like really not sure what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So I studied public health, and I think I studied that because it was a projection of everything that I needed as an individual. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, well, that should be my career because I want to know these things. But what I actually wanted to know was how to heal myself. I think that I should have studied something else. Like I like public health a lot. I think it's so foundational and so important. But the one thing that they don't really tell you is like what work will look like in that field.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've come to learn that I'm someone that has to be physically engaged with like the things that I'm working on. I can't be on a computer 5 days a week, and that is a lot of public health jobs. It's being on a computer, and it feels like a collective hallucination just being on a computer 9 to 5. Um, so yeah, when I graduated college, I was so jaded because one, I learned the healthcare system is just a poor for a for oh my gosh, a for-profit system. It doesn't really prioritize the health of citizens a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time. And I was like, why would I want to work in a field where everything's like set up against me, and a lot of the entry level jobs don't pay much and look really boring. Um, and like all of these things. And I also was so jaded because I went to a rich kid school, and like I was a financial aid student, and I just wanted to go to the best school that I could go to. And I went to a private rich kid school. And I think the hard part was when I graduated college, the whole goal is, okay, now you go start your career. And I had my first job when I was in 7th grade. So I had been working like, seasonally, part-time from 7th grade until I graduated college. But I was surrounded by kids who the only first job they ever had was like their internship, their sophomore or junior
Mm.
year. And the whole goal of college is, yeah, getting that job. And I was just like, what the hell did I go to college for? I've already been working. Like and I was so burnt out from having to work longer than all of my classmates. So jaded because there were things that, future employers will never see about me. Um, so I was just really angry, I guess, about this system of education and like life and the cost behind it all.
Mm.
Like all my classmates were so excited to start their careers, and I was just like, I've been working since middle school. I'm
Mm.
tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm tired of this.
Did you ever consider any people facing or frontline health positions like nursing or other
No.
medical? No. Okay.
No, I would never be a nurse. Never.
Why is that? They're more on their feet. That's what made me think of it.
Um, I just never felt called to it at all. It's just like the structural aspect of health. I would say it was what really caught my eye. Um, like
Yeah.
certain regulations, laws, things that we consume. I'm more interested in the kind of preventative things about lifestyle and all that kind of stuff rather
Yeah.
than blood work and heart rate.
And I think anyone who checks out your Substack newsletter will see that you are a very big picture systems thinker. You're
Yes.
interested in many things. So
Yeah.
that really lines up.
Yeah.
You did have someone introduce you, or maybe a few people introduce you to the joy of cycling in
Hmm.
college, right?
Yes.
Just give me like one moment that really opened your eyes.
Yeah. The moment that opened my eyes was I made a friend during COVID. We started biking together, and he was like, let's go to the campus bike co-op after our ride. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, this is during COVID, by the way. So this co-op technically was allowed to keep operating during COVID because it was in a garage, which meant that it was technically outside, which meant that we could technically still hang out. And
Nice.
despite everything being shut down. Um, and so it's just like this one kind of hidden gem workaround for being social during a pandemic. Everyone's wearing masks, obviously, here and, doing their best to stay outside in the co-op space. But anyways, we go to this ride, or we finish our ride and we go to this little workshop, and it's pretty much all men. It's like 6 men, of all different ages, like undergrad, graduate school. And there's me, and I'm just wearing this like neon, like spandex outfit. It's just like not even a shirt. It's just this like sports bra, crop top, and like spandex shorts. And I just remember walking into this environment of like exclusively men and not feeling like the odd person out or any kind of way. I mean, I think a lot of women would, if you're wearing like a skin tight neon outfit and you meet a bunch of men you've never met before, you're like, oh, like, is this going to be fine? But everyone didn't even like look at me any differently, didn't talk to me any differently. Everyone was so nice and normal. And I think I'd been missing that from literally every other social group I'd ever been a part of in college.
Mm.
From
Hmm.
the arts people to the rowing team I was on, it felt like there was always this weird energy, one way or another that I couldn't define. But this group of people, it instantly felt like just like, hey, we all like the same thing, so we're happy that you're here. And that was end of story. And I just kept showing up because the energy of it was just so fantastic. Um, I just think it's really funny because I know a lot of women don't get that experience. I know a lot of women think of it as like a very hyper bro masculine environment, but mine was the exact opposite. It was open table, just like felt like radical like equality. No one really cared like who you were, what you looked like. It was just your character
Mm.
and intentions.
Hmm.
And that's what kept me going back for all of COVID. And just that's what really spiraled me into the bike world and bike community.
Hmm. That's cool that it was the sense of belonging and inclusion that you felt so clearly, so quickly, that
Yeah.
really made it stick for you. And
Hmm.
I surmise that people who show up to a cooperative, kind of place where everyone needs to chip in, it's not just a bike shop, it's not just like mountain bikers hanging out. I imagine that has a positive effect on making everyone feel welcome.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. It definitely is a cooperative. Yeah, the whole nature of that is different than a shop or something else.
Yeah. Okay, so you discovered cycling in college. Right after college, you're like, I don't want to go get a job, and certainly not in a computer job in the public health field I was trained in. I'm going to go cycling instead. You cycle back to Baltimore. You survive cycling the United States, the Wild West, and you pop over to Europe. Um, at what moment does your social media, what do you want to call it, career presence,
Hmm.
start to bloom? When did people start paying attention to you?
The very end of my trip around Europe. That's when I had a couple of videos go viral and I was finishing my trip in Europe, and that's when it really took off. And I was like, oh crap, like my trip is ending. Now what do I do?
Oh no, I'm getting popular. What do I do?
Yeah, I'm like, my life's gonna become boring. And now everyone wants to follow me. Because the timeline was bike trip from Atlanta to Baltimore, then across Europe. That's when I got popular. And then I came home and got my job. And then it was a year and a quarter of working my job before I biked across the United States. But it was, yeah, right when I was coming home, it really popped off. I don't know, the social media career is such a loose term because I've made very little money from it. But I would say that's when the concept of money started. So that was probably early 2022. Yeah.
And tell me more. What do you mean by the concept of money started for you then?
Like every once in a while, a company would be like, "Oh, do you want this product?" and promote it. And I didn't know anything about brand deals. I didn't know anything about social media marketing in the slightest. So it was very experimental, pretty much almost no money being made. But I was like, there's something here to work with. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I'm going to just entertain it. Um, and it's been a very, very slow build for me. This like social media career. It's just like the Wild West, honestly. Things are changing all the time. Half of it is like a pyramid scheme. And like I just I was trying to figure out my place in this crazy environment. Like, do I even like this? What's happening right now?
Yeah. And it's a very screen-based environment, which is part of
Yeah,
what you were running away from.
exactly. Exactly. So I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that social media success, did that lead into the job that you landed at the end of your time in Europe?
Um, no. So the job that I got was actually through a friend that it was at this like random tech startup that wanted to hire my friend. And she was like, I can't do it, but I have a different person who you might like. And I was in London when I was emailing this company. So I was at the very beginning of my Europe bike tour when I was interviewing this company. Um, so like I think they hired me because they were thinking, oh, if this chick can bike around, you know, 10 countries in Europe alone, she could clearly be a product manager somehow.
I don't
Um,
understand that link
I don't
personally.
either. I don't either, but they hired me.
Okay.
For context, one of the interview questions was, do you know what the cloud is? And I was like, what, the clouds in the sky? Like I didn't,
And they
and they
hired
s-
you.
and they still hired me.
Huh.
So I
Yeah.
think they were like, oh, she went to a good school and she can be self-sufficient while traveling internationally. So she's a problem solver. But I'm terrible at technology.
It's fascinating. I wonder if it really just was like university credentials or the personal referral or maybe the social media. But like you said, it was before you really got big on social media. Anyways, you
Yeah.
got a tech job, and up to this point, you had worked mostly like more like entry level or service jobs since you were 14 years old, right?
Yeah, like camp counselors, lifeguards, tutors, in a library, in a lab.
Yeah.
Like I had a dozen jobs before I graduated
Yeah.
college.
So not exactly big money in any of those positions, if I'm guessing
No.
correctly.
Yeah.
And then what was dropped into your lap? And if you're willing to say, like, roughly how much money did you start getting paid all of a sudden?
Oh, I went from making, whatever, $15 an hour to $115,000 a year.
How did that feel, Claire?
Um, Good, but mostly bad
Why?
because, well, the nature of my job sucked. Um, I spent 40 hours a week making like so much money, but I hated everything. I hated every hour of work. And also the work that I did was completely meaningless. It was purposeless. It was just theatrical. And everything that I did basically went into um the online wasteland. And I was doing just meaningless work that did nothing to help the world, but I was being rewarded for it.
And are you
That,
being hyperbolic when you say meaningless and it didn't help the world? Like, did you really think that whatever products you were developing were absolutely useless or even destructive?
um, I think it was an ego-driven company based off of somebody who wasn't as successful as his friends.
Okay, So it's kind of like like someone lost a bet or something. They're like, I'm going to make a product, I'm going to make it incredible, and they're not doing it for like the right reasons or to really serve people or to really solve some
Yeah.
important problem.
I think like a lot of people just want to be the next like Zuckerberg. People
Hmm.
want to just be this like this new force in the world of tech. And they're just grasping at this $1 million idea, right? And they think to themselves, "Oh, I have $1 million idea." But we don't even need these $1 million ideas. Like what we need is to not have like poison in our food, you know? Like we don't need like this new cloud technology that's going to revolutionize a million things. Like this company ultimately, I think, was made like we were told that this was a product that was going to make the iCloud like the cloud systems and all these so much easier for so many companies. Um, and I hardly even understood it, but I think that's just my lack of understanding of tech. Like if I can't touch something and feel it, it's going to be really hard for me to know what the hell's going on. But no, the company wasn't doing anything meaningful. Like I had friends doing meaningful work, getting paid 45K a year. And I'm just over here doing something that I know is not actually going to help people. Um, like based on how a lot of things were going on in the company, it just felt like, yeah, very theatrical. I was pretending to work all the time. And most of the work that I did do just never worked out.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's just this constant theater of having a 9 to 5. And then you tell people, "Oh, I'm a product manager for a tech startup," and everyone's eyes light up. And you're getting paid like what feels like dirty money, honestly. I mean, I don't have the kindest of things to say about the tech industry, if you can't already tell.
Yeah.
But it's just like my work, the value of my work was not $115,000 a year. And I was one of the lowest paid employees,
Hmm.
you know?
This is quintessential David Graeber bullshit job. This
It
is
is.
pretty much what he described in that essay.
Yeah.
So this begs the question: since you had summer camp jobs or tutoring jobs that I presume were more interesting and meaningful, and you can see direct impact, like what made you take this job? Did you have more idealistic hopes at the beginning? Were you curious? Were you just like, I want to see what it feels like to earn this much money?
Um, I didn't apply to any jobs after college. So when this one fell into my lap, I was like, perfect. I
Because
was
it
like,
gave you money, or just because it was a job and you're like, I probably should get a job at some point, and here's one?
basically, it was like, okay, I didn't have to apply. I had an interview. I didn't have to apply. That's awesome. It's going to pay me $115,000. That's awesome. I've, been a financial aid kid. I got my first job when I was really young. So I would like to not be poor for once, because that gets really exhausting. And I mean, I have student debt. I was like, I can't afford to pass up this job. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, that would be so bad to not, it was like, yes, this job, like I took the job knowing I probably wouldn't like it, but I also took the job knowing that, cash rules everything, money rules everything. And at some points of your life, you have to kind of choose, I guess, how you're going to manage it. And that was a jump start for me. Like if you think of like managing a car, that really was a jump start for my personal finances. And I will always appreciate that. Um, but I'm so glad that I'm out of that career because it was making me so sick physically and mentally. Like
Hmm.
it was just ruining my health. But again, my financial health was great and all that jazz. So
How long
yeah,
did you stick around?
a year and a quarter.
Okay, so you earned something on the order of, I don't know, $140,000 from working there. Uh, Not too shabby, Claire, for being early 20s.
Yeah.
And so now we're getting into more recent history. We're getting into your New Zealand bike trip. Were you still working for the tech company when you were cycling New Zealand?
No, so basically what happened was I got roped into this bike ride across the United States and I was looking for a reason to quit my job, but there was no reason. And then this person was like, you should do marketing for this group bike ride across the country because they raise money for local nonprofit in Baltimore. The bike ride starts on June 4th. I was like, okay, I told my company I want to take unpaid time off to go bike on this cross-country journey. So I had unpaid time off for the entire bike ride across the country. And then a week before the trip ended, I quit. And then, because I knew I was never going to come back, but I also knew that I wanted my health care. So I was like, whatever. They were going to, I had intel from someone in the company that they were laying people off anyways. And I knew I was like the least important person there. So I was like, whatever. They don't need me or want me. I'll just leave. And the bike ride across the country is what was the reason to kind of leave my job. And then at that point, I didn't have my job. But I had savings stacked up because I knew I was going to do something like this. I knew I was going to just chaotically quit and then start biking. And then I just was talking to a friend. It was like, want to go to New Zealand? It was sure. So then we booked our flights to New Zealand. And I was just a free bird at that point, watching my bank account go down, but I had been strategic about it. So I had known for a long time working my tech job, I was just going to randomly quit one day and go for a long bike ride.
And it's really good for funding those long bike rides.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
So it sounds to me like for the majority of the time since you've finished formal higher education, you have not been working or certainly not working full time. You've been able to do a lot of cycling, go on a lot of adventures, more than many people will do before they, hit retirement age.
Yeah.
And just so people are aware of where your income comes from, like what is your financial, your money situation right now? How are you making money? Is some of it from social media? And please talk about the bicycle trips you've been running.
Okay, so the main moneymaker right now is working for these luxury active vacation company. This one company that I work for. It's a 1-week trip for these people. They spend like $3,000 to go on a 1-week luxury bike trip. So that's the seasonal job that I have. That's really the moneymaker. Aside from that, there's 7 other things that go on. I lead bike packing trips. So those are primarily in Maryland. I'm slowly going to new places too, but Maryland's where I live. So it's just easier to run a trip nearby. I lead a couple of bike packing trips a year. So it's usually 3 days camping, way cheaper than those really fancy vacations for that company I work for. Aside from that, I do some social media marketing for brands that I really like. Like a recent one was Aventon, which is this e-bike company. But I have a lot of kind of casual partnerships going on, which is both, nice because it's like no stress, but then casual also means like no pay or little pay. So it's, I don't know, you take what you can get, you just roll with it. But I'm getting a little bit better at the social media marketing aspect of things and managing my finances. Sometimes I sell bike things. Actually, because I'm a very creative person, one thing that my friend and I, this is almost a little secret. I'm like, should I share this right now? I have a friend who's as creatively minded as I am. And we're going to be making like cargo nets for bikes, but in fun colors because everything out there is just black.
That's what I own.
Yeah. And there's nothing like fun. There's no, neon green with neon red. There's no neon pink with brown. Like there's nothing crazy. And cyclists love fun colors. So anyways, it's like, that's a new business adventure, is being creative and contributing to this fun, colorful, spunky part of the bike world. But I got 1,000 projects going on at once. This is like, one of my greatest assets is having ideas. And then also one of my biggest flaws is there's too many of them to make happen.
Yeah. So this is probably a difficult question to answer, but how much do you work these days? Like, are you working all the time? Are you like that kind of like, I have 7 side hustles, I'm trying to be a super entrepreneur. Do you still have time to like genuinely relax, reflect, do art, go on cycle trips that you don't feel the need to document or evaluate products or whatever? Tell me how that balance is working out for you right now, Claire.
The balance is not very balanced, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. it's really hard to define how many hours that I'm working these days, because sometimes the work is just really fun and sometimes the work is really boring. Like working on this project with my friend for making these cargo nets, like on one hand, it doesn't feel like work at all because I just love making stuff so much. But on the other hand, eventually we'll have to start listing it online, selling it, shipping it. And I mean, do I even call that work right now? Building the board for making this? It doesn't feel like it, but it
Mm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I have a lot of fun. I do. I would say it's kind of hard for me to sit still. That's definitely where the difficulty comes in for relaxation.
Yeah.
When you're managing 7 side projects, every time you're sitting still, you're like, well, I could be sitting still on a computer fixing that one thing that I know I need to fix.
Yeah, I think this is a theme in a lot of these interviews I've done, is that a lot of people just genuinely enjoy their side projects, their even their main work, their creative things that might end up making some money one day but probably won't. And so it's hard to say like how many hours do you work with the assumption that the other hours are somehow this like mythical pure form of relaxation, which is really not what a lot of us are looking for. We're looking for meaningful engagement. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, even I realized the other day that I've been doing a lot more kind of sculptural projects. I'm using power tools, and I made a couple of videos of me just making just random crap at this welding studio that my friends have. And apparently that's now marketing for me because my number of website views have skyrocketed, like in direct correlation to when I post a video of me using an angle grinder. And I'm just like at this studio being like, apparently now I need to get more content of this because it's having a direct impact on my bike packing sales.
So this is
Crazy.
a perfect segue into your evolving relationship to social media, because
Yes.
you had this kind of early breakout success, which you seem to enjoy. You're like, I'm popular now.
Yeah.
And what you just told me is like, wow, people like seeing me with an angle grinder. I guess this means I need to make more videos like this kind of like response of like,
Mm-hmm.
if I get the likes, then I do more of the thing, like Pavlovian dog
Yeah.
response.
Yeah.
And so in recent time, like in the past year, I've noticed you've taken this stand against Instagram and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me what where this came from and how it is right now for you.
I think I just at one point came across a lot of YouTube videos and articles from psychology places, like regular people, then psychologists, all saying like basically you're becoming less intelligent because of doom scrolling and all these things. And I just kind of had this realization of like, I love being intelligent. I love having a brain. I love having time to do things that I enjoy. And um, I just felt so hollow posting on social media. Um, I wasn't really getting as much as I thought I would get because the TikTok boom really had this illusory like concept that you could become rich by tomorrow. And that was happening to some people. It wasn't happening to me, but it was always like, it's the lottery system. Like, it could be you next. It could be you next.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't ever me. And it's honestly not it for a lot of people. And I was just like, I don't like that my life is going away. Like, as a child, I was always doing stuff. I was doing stuff all the damn time. Like, games, sports, making things. That's what gives me life. And these apps are just taking away my ability to do all of that.
Because
And
of your relationship with the apps, both as a consumer and a creator.
yeah, because mine's twofold as a consumer and a creator. You're double sucked in. Like if you're just a consumer, that's one way of being sucked in. But I'm doing both. I have to know what's happening on these apps to stay up to date with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is so much of my life gone. I don't mind editing videos, but it doesn't, scratch that itch for me. And I just think it's so like messed up that, right, I'm 26. These social media came out in a time where my brain was like almost fully formed, but like people who are younger than me, I'm like, God damn, like this is so messed up. People are like losing their ability to have a hobby because of these apps. They're losing their ability to read a book because of these apps. And I took a huge step back for myself mainly. Like, what do I want my life to look like? I don't want to be addicted to this. And I would say my doom scrolling is significantly less than it used to be. Um, and I have started posting a little bit because my business was born and is tied to my Instagram. So I'm
Mm,
trying to find the balance of like my bike packing trips. When I have a form and it's how did you find this trip? Almost every single time it's Instagram. People aren't
mm,
finding my trips because of Substack or because of Google search and all these other things. It's because of my Instagram. So it's like, okay, I don't really want to be here because I don't think there is a ton of good things coming from these apps, but I kind of am realizing I do have to have some kind of presence. So, in order for my business to keep being alive, because it feels like if I don't want to be on these apps at all, like I almost have to give up my business. Um, so I'm trying to figure out where I stand with all of that. I think ultimately one thing that's been helpful is just posting things that I want to and not really caring in the slightest about what's cool online.
mm,
It's just doing what I want. I
mhm.
think there's a lawnmower that's
there,
right outside of my
there's
window.
definitely a lawnmower. All right, the lawnmower threat has been removed for now. One of the things I really enjoyed on your Substack, Claire, you posted earlier this year 14 reasons not to become an influencer. And it was not nearly as popular as something you posted just before that, which is I'd
Yeah.
rather be kind of poor than work most jobs.
Yeah.
So in your writing career, it seems like that has really struck a nerve with people. Like what was inside that post?
Oh my God. I was just yeah, saying I'd rather be kind of poor than work most jobs. That was really it. Like and I wrote that not realizing a lot of people related to it. I had no plans for it to actually blow up because my Substack is so inconsequential. It's just like an afterthought because I used to just post everything on Instagram that I was like, oh, maybe I should do it on a different platform and I'm on Substack. But yeah, I'd rather be kind of poor than work most jobs was basically saying like, I feel like people look at me and they're all trying to find my lost purpose for a career. Like, I'm just a fish out of water.
Like they're trying to
Cause
help you get back on track so you can have a
yes,
nice, well-paid, good benefits job and then you're going to be happy.
exactly. They're all trying to help me get back on track. And everyone's, well intentioned, obviously. They're well intentioned. But I feel like they're not. I mean, it's a very practical approach to life, and there's nothing wrong with being practical. Like things that need to be done. But I'm not a practical person. Clearly, I'm not a practical person. Like after college, instead of getting a job, I just went to bike around Europe instead. I was like, screw all this. I'm making my own path. And that's the kind of person I think I am. It's just like I have a high tolerance for uncertainty. I have like a high tolerance for, I don't know, dealing with the consequences of my own actions. And I'm just like, well, I don't like most jobs. I love doing things. Like I really, really, really love doing things. I just hate most jobs. I don't like being told I have to ask for time off. Like I don't want to ask to take time off to go on a camping trip one weekend. Like, are you kidding me? Like that's ridiculous. Like my boss doesn't own my life. And my generation is super screwed over because the cost of life is just accelerating and wages are not following it. So
Mm,
it's like if I'm going to be poor, let it be my choice.
mm.
Like I don't want to be working like a full 40 hours a week to make 45K for something that I don't enjoy while watching the cost of everything just increase before my eyes. It just if I'm going to
What
be yeah.
what about your friends who are working for 45,000 a year full time, but they have work that they enjoy and feels purposeful? Like how does that balance of time, money and purpose appeal to you?
I am not very, I don't really know yet, because on one hand, I feel envy that they have stability and consistency in their income. On another hand, I'm not jealous, or I have no envy of the fact that they still have to do things like ask for time off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I I value my life and my quality of life deeply. Like, all my hobbies, like, I love my hobbies too much.
Yeah.
And I care tremendously more about having time for my hobbies than I do about stability of income, honestly. Um, so I don't really know. It's like I'm kind of in a weird space right now, because we've like in your book, you mentioned being high paying but low paying, and that
High pay
is,
but low income. Yeah.
yeah, like high pay, low income. That is exactly the situation that I'm in right now. It's really hard to describe. um, but that's where I am, and I'm just like, I kind of can, like, if I wanted to go biking all of next week, I could. I literally could. I wouldn't have to go ask permission from anyone. I could just do it. I mean, I'm not going to, because I have other things to take care of, but I don't know. It's that flexibility and being able to go places on my time and do the things that I want. I mean, there's a lot of chaos with it. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe one day I won't want the chaos anymore. I'm kind of tired of it, but I
Yeah.
think it's still worth the experiment. One thing that I've tried to live my life a lot of is it's better to try and fail than never try at all. And I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if just knowing that you could take that week off, even if you never actualize it, is like this huge reward in itself. Just kind of knowing that you are not under someone's thumb, and that fundamentally you have this sense of control and autonomy,
Hmm.
and just knowing that it's a possibility is enough. But fundamentally, you'd rather like be at home working on your 22 different projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, for example, this summer, I'm going to go biking in Canada for probably 35, 40 days. That is already over the limit of time off for pretty much every job in the United States.
Even very swanky jobs.
Exactly. And like, why should I not be able to do that? That is so stupid. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like a lot of Americans, they're just being so practical and doing the things that have to get done because they know they need to get done. But I don't know. I like we all deserve, everyone deserves so much more, like, life, and just really like living life. Living life right now is defined by the things that you can consume, the things that you can buy, but it's not like the things that you do in life, like living it. And
Mm.
I feel like that's a huge trap of the American psyche, is that life, like living a good life, is oftentimes measured by the things that you're buying and you're consuming. But that's not at all what's important to me, like, in the slightest. I would rather be dirt bagging in Canada, dumpster diving and wild camping, than like buying this beautiful new dress just to go, like, you know,
Go
to
eat some very expensive brunch.
yeah, like, that's fun every once in a while, but that's just not what makes me feel like I'm living.
And I think this is why people loved your videos and seem to continue to love your Instagram posts, because you embody that very well in many of the posts.
Yeah.
And more recently, you have also been like very transparent about these much darker moments where you
Hmm.
seem to have existential dread, some serious feeling of powerlessness, really railing against global capitalism.
Hmm.
And it seems like that is really an all-consuming thing for you at
Yeah.
moments. And
I mean, it
tell me
is.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, like, the consequence of all this like global capitalism is just going to be death. That's just really what it is. Like, the death of the oceans, the death of people abroad. Like, it's just, these things are all have a direct correlation to the ending of human life in so many ways. Like, there's no other way to describe it. And to me, it just feels completely psychotic to just keep moving forward. Um, I know for some people it's like, okay, well, I got to put food on the table. I got to work this job. Like, I got to do all these things, X, Y, and Z. And I feel like there's like I'm trying to not tell everyone how to live their life because that's not my place to do that. But the current track that we are on is just like obliteration, is what it feels like. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it's just, I was telling a friend, it feels like there's death around the corner all the time. And I don't want it to feel that way. I want everyone and everything to feel like there's life around the corner all the time. But that's hard. Um, it's hard when you see a million like negative policies happening, when you see the signs of climate change, when you hear the news of the impacts of climate change locally or across the planet, like all these things. And just like status quo, continuing with status quo to me is psychotic. And I think that's why I've made my own life crazy because to me that feels less crazy than like everything else.
Hmm. Interesting framing. And as you like tried to step away from social media a bit more, did that change your relationship to like feelings of imminent doom at all, or just you consumed it in a different way?
I think I definitely consumed it in a different way. Um, and I don't know, you also just see it like walking around. I mean, you do see slivers of, life and beauty too, just walking around. But I mean, you just feel all these unnecessary threats and danger around you all the time. At least, again, like for me. And I feel like the news, or I mean, it's impossible to escape the news no matter how hard you try. I feel like. So I don't know. I just finished reading Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit, I think is her last name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she wrote that during the Bush era, um, which I was, a toddler in. Um, but that book has been kind of helpful for still possessing hope to make the world a better place. And that's what I'm trying to always remind myself is like, in order to make the world a better place, you have to continuously try. The minute that you stop trying is the minute you've guaranteed you're no longer making it a better place. And I think, I don't know, on one hand, being off of social media is great because I can just focus on doing all those things like this community garden that I just started going to. I mean, I bike to try and make the world a better place. And social media was also a way to try and encourage other people to make the world a better place through through realizing the connection of everything. Like I feel like biking just makes you realize how connected everything is and how coerced we all are into living a certain way of life. So on one hand, social media can be a tool to help make the world a better place. And on the other hand, getting off of it also does that.
Mm. And you have some really great posts out there about why cycling like gives people hope for the future. I recommend people go look for those.
Hmm.
As we get close to the end here, I definitely want to hear about your recent experience in Chile. And
Hmm.
that seemed like a just incredibly positive, healthy time for you. So just maybe give me a story about what a day in your life looked like and what you were doing out there.
Um, we Chile was split into three sections. We started in Pichilimu, beach town, just relaxing, having fun at this beach town. The chunk of it was a workaway in a very small bed and breakfast vineyard at the foothills of the Andes. That was an amazing experience. I was with my girlfriend and we were just doing this workaway program and just like waking up, and the job of the day was to go pick blackberries to make a pie for the guests. And obviously, it was a short piece of time. So it's really easy to idolize stuff like that when you're only doing it for a week and a half or a week.
Sure.
But it was really just the quietness and the simplicity that calmed my nervous system down so much. I live in Baltimore, which is a loud city, and Chile was an experiment for different ways of life for me. Will I like living somewhere further away and quieter? There's tons of pros to it. I mean, I felt calmer. I was outside all the time. I didn't feel like, I mean, people just yell at you sometimes for no reason in the city. You'll be biking and they just yell at you, and you're like, what did I do besides breathe?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It was Chile was awesome. It's so beautiful there. Like their natural landscape is just really beautiful. At least where I
Yeah.
was. And
What was the third part of the Chile trip? You said there were three.
oh yeah, that was just being in Santiago, just being a city girl. And Santiago was cool and all. I wouldn't say it was my favorite city that I
Yeah,
went to.
it's
But it wasn't
fine.
like it wasn't like a bad city either. It was just a place.
Yeah, it's a place people go and they fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really curious how you're going to answer this last one, Claire, which is if people want to find you online, to know what you're up to, where should they go?
Unfortunately, the answer is Instagram.
I was hoping you'd say something else.
I know. Well, I think I'm working on the something else. I think Instagram is the place for now. I think I'm still I mean, I've just redone my entire website, which is livingbybike.com. I finished that about a month ago, like just getting the whole thing set up and beautiful. And that's going to be a constant work in progress. Eventually, I would like that to be the main place, but the traction still comes from Instagram. Like people are visiting my website through Instagram.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
I'll put both of those up on the episode description, but I also really recommend that people go to what is currently called Claire's Substack newsletter, very inventive title, which is linked in, I believe, both your Instagram and your website. And for me, I really like reading these long form thoughts that you have. I don't go into Instagram much or YouTube much, so that's where I have enjoyed getting to know you more. I'm delighted that you have a personal website. I'm a huge fan. I want everyone to have a personal website. Yeah. Great. And
yeah.
if anyone is interested in cycling, exchanging less than $3,000 to cycle for a week with you to go on one of your bike packing trips, like how do they find it? How far in advance do they need to book? And what kind of trips, what length, and like how hardcore
Sure.
of a trip are you running?
So my trips are 3 to 4 days, and they're very inexpensive. Like the cheapest one's $95. The most expensive one's like
What?
$250.
Wow, cool. That's
It just
super accessible.
it just depends on the trip. Like, the one trip that's $95, that's because I don't pay for any camping. It's all free. Everything's basically free. The one that's like 250 is like we need to book a shuttle at the end of it and pay for the campgrounds and all that stuff. So there's a variety of things, but that is all on livingbybike.com. There is just the 2026 tours. That's where you find those there. I used to be on Ticket Tailor, but I am now getting everything put into one home base, which is very exciting. But I lead about 4 trips a year. And my October ones are the ones I'm really excited about because it's peak leaf changing season.
Mm.
And I think people are always like, it's too cold to go biking. I'm like, that means that no one's going to be on the trail.
Yes,
And
exactly.
yeah, and the trees will be really pretty.
Great.
So those are I'm really excited about.
I'm, as a fellow guide, really happy for you that you get to share your love of cycling with people, and especially in such a financially accessible way. And
Yeah.
you get to be out there in October in leaf season when everyone else is indoors in front of a screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
You're doing
50%.
something right. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
There's going to be a 50% chance that it rains because that's always how it is, but it is still worth it.
Yeah. Great. Great. Claire, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking.